Homebound with Gerald on Symphony 924.
A very good evening and thank you for tuning in to Symphony 924, your home for the arts. It's now 5:44 and today I've got a guest in the studio. Here's one of my colleagues from 938 Live as a presenter. Here's Eugene Low. Hello, Eugene.
Hi, Gerald.
Glad to have you with us in the
for
studio.
having me.
Well, Eugene hosts a show in the afternoon from 2 to 5 p.m.
That's right.
And you just ended your shift, right?
Yes.
Right. Must be good to be interviewed for a change.
Actually, it feels a bit funny.
Yeah, it does.
To be on the other end.
Right.
But yeah, it's great. It's a great feeling.
That's great. Well, Eugene is here to tell us more about a new book that's launched. It's the 4th edition, actually. Not really new. The 4th edition of A Slice of Life. So what is this about, Eugene?
It's a compilation of scripts from my radio capsule, which is it's been running since 1998 when 938 Live first started.
Wow.
So 16 years.
Wow.
But the book started in 2008. That was volume 1. So
Okay.
every 2 years we put out one book. So this is the 4th book in 2014. This time we've bumped up the number of scripts. So it's 70 scripts. Previous books were about 60.
Right.
So you get a bit more, I suppose, more scripts for
Right.
your buck this time around.
So it's actually a segment on your show.
Yeah, these scripts are taken from, these scripts have been broadcast before on the show.
Right. And it's about motivational articles?
It's self-improvement, motivational. Basically, I think it's about very universal themes that all of us face. You know,
Right.
Self-esteem issues, dealing with certain challenges in life, relationships, dealing with perhaps things like anxiety management, anger management.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Right. So you've been writing this since it started?
In the beginning, it started off as actually on the first, before I started the show,
Yes,
the,
yes.
the brief that was given to me was do something on the lighter side of life. That was it. Okay. And so at the time I was thinking, oh God, what am I going to do with the lighter side of life?
Yes.
So at that time, the Chicken Soup for the Soul series was very popular. So I thought, okay, let me just, share a story from there and then maybe just give my 2 cents worth at the end.
Yeah.
And then what happened was it, went along quite well for a couple of years, and then after that I ran out of stories, and also I felt it wasn't personal enough, So I by that time I think I had a bit more confidence and experience to say to myself, hey, why don't I try
To
doing
write
it
your own,
my own?
write your own script.
So it evolved into something more of like reflecting on a particular issue or a topic
Right.
that concerns, self-improvement and motivation.
Yes. Well, I've heard some of these capsules on your show, and I really loved it.
Thank you.
Because it's really wise,
actually
and it's really nice to hear you read it because you have this very low, nice voice. But are you like that in real life? Wise, and do you dish out advice to people around you?
Well, that's something that I've had to grapple with when I meet listeners and things like that. Because I mean, it's very natural for people to listen to a voice or a
Yes.
personality on air and assume that that's all there is to the person, right? It's very natural. I mean, we do that with like people on TV and all that as well. But then again, when we think about it, there's so much more to a person.
Yes.
So this is just one aspect of me. Of course, I can be like that sometimes.
Sometimes.
Meditative, contemplative, and all that. And I don't know, maybe the job also kind of like made me a bit more of that sort of person. But yes, I've always been someone who likes to think quite a bit.
Right.
So it's quite fitting that I did something like this.
Yes.
As part of my job.
So when you write a script for this capsule, do you base it on your own relationships, your own experiences, or do you look at the world around you?
It's various things, really. I mean, it's partly autobiographical, as with most works that people create. I mean, that you always put in some of yourself into it, if not a lot of yourself into it. Even works of fiction, you do put a lot of your own personality and your values into the work. So for me, it's partly personal as well. And sometimes when I talk to people
Yes.
and certain issues come up, I remember them and then I think about them for when scripting as well. But
Yeah.
sometimes, most of the time, I would say yes. It's about something that I've experienced or observed in other people,
Right.
and then I use that as a premise to reflect more on it. I don't like to think of it as a, instructing people what to do, because that's not
Yes,
it
yes.
at all, because we all need to find our own ways of dealing with our problems. So it's more of reflecting on an issue, and that this is just my thoughts on this particular issue.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've gained a pretty large fan base with this slice of life segment that provides motivational advice to people. And so, do you get all these requests from people, like your listeners, asking you to solve their problems for them?
Sometimes,
It's possible, right?
Sometimes it has
Yeah,
happened.
it has happened.
really. And when it does, I always feel a little strange, mainly because it's not that I don't want to help them,
Yeah.
but because I really don't, I'm not in a professional capacity to help
Yes.
them. I'm not a professional psychiatrist or a counselor, so I'm quite wary, you see.
Yeah, don't,
Yeah.
you know, just in case I say something wrong, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's the kind of thing. But I do try my best to the best of my abilities to share what I feel about the issue. But I always tell them that, I'm not a professional, so this is what I feel about it. But, you should always talk to someone who has the qualifications,
To
to
help you. Yeah, all right. So I understand that there will be a book collection tomorrow
Yes, the book will be launched tomorrow.
at the Terrace, Conrad Centennial, Singapore. So you can pre-order, right? This book. You
Yes.
can go online to pre-order, or if you want, you can meet Eugene tomorrow and buy the book there and get it signed by him.
Yeah. I mean, previous years we have a couple of events,
Yes.
so it's kind of like spread up. But for this year, it's just this one event.
Oh.
And it's really fun because I really get to meet the listeners and
Yes.
chat with them. So it's really just with this one opportunity. So it would be great if you could come down. It's
Yes.
noon to 6 p.m., so we've extended the time as well.
Nice.
So, pretty much the whole afternoon for you to come down to. So hope to see you
To
there.
get more of you.
Anyway, yes.
Yes, so head on down to the Terrace, Conrad Centennial, Singapore tomorrow from 12 to 6 p.m. Eugene will be there. To sign your book, The Slice of Life, 4th edition. Thank you very much, Eugene,
Thanks,
for telling us more
Gerald.
about this.
Thank you.
Music for every mood. Symphony 924, your home for the arts.